Tizku l'shanim rabot. I hope everybody had a meaningful and enjoyable Rosh Hashanah, wherever you may have been. Of course, now we sit in the time period known as the Aseret Yemei Teshuba, the days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippurim, and hopefully we are using that time to reflect not only on what the year that has passed otherwise might have or should have been, but also what the year ahead could be. And as we do so, hopefully we consider the words of Harambam in Teshuba in the third perek, where he writes that anybody that has more zichuyot, more merits, so to speak, than demerits, than avonot, he is a tzaddik. And anybody that has more avonot, more demerits than zichuyot, than merits, is a rasha. And anybody that has 50-50 is a benoni. He's somewhere in the middle. And at the same time he writes, and therefore a person has to consider himself that essentially the world, which is also lying in the balance, sits on his shoulders. And if he does one good deed, not only does he turn himself, but the entire world onto the side of sitkut. And if he does one misdeed, one avon, he turns both himself and the entire world to the side of rishut. It's an interesting concept, particularly as it is put forth by Harambam. Interesting to note that someone who was such a sophisticated thinker, philosopher as the Rambam, would put forth what seems to be somewhat of an elementary understanding. There's check marks and X's. You're on the good side, you're on the bad side, you get one more check, then you get a prize, you get one more X, then you don't get a prize. What is Harambam telling us as we consider the Aseret Yemei Teshuva in anticipation of Yom Kippurim? And I think what Harambam is essentially trying to say is that it's really about an attitude. The tzaddik is someone who, the overwhelming majority of the time, makes the right choice. He's programmed, he's conditioned that way. He's overcome his desire. He's conditioned that the overwhelming majority of the time he's going to make the right choices. That's his perspective, that's his attitude, his outlook on life. The rasha is conditioned. His outlook, his perspective is he's going to make the wrong choices. He has been overrun by his desire, and when considering what to do, the overwhelming majority of the time, he's going to make the wrong choice. And then there's the majority of people who vacillate when approached with a choice. When there's a choice between doing the right thing and the wrong thing. Sometimes we do the right thing, and sometimes we do the wrong thing, and we vacillate. And we challenge, we battle ourselves with what should we do. And what Harambam is saying in Hilchot Teshuba is, it's a matter of an attitude change. We need to spend the Aseret Yemei Teshuba thinking about what it is inside of us that sometimes pushes us to make the wrong choices. And perhaps, as we consider it, we need to think about the consequences, the ramifications, the responses of those choices. As you consider the year ahead, think about your attitude towards making your choices in life. And in that, think about what's the next step. So I make this choice, it feels good right now, it tastes good right now, it sounds good right now. What happens next? What happens after that? And perhaps that's what Harambam means when he says that the world sits on your shoulders. You do one right thing, the world moves this way, you do one thing, the world moves that way. What is he trying to say? Perhaps Harambam is trying to say very simply, your actions matter. They do. We think we make a decision, it exists in a vacuum. Who am I going to hurt? It's just me. What could possibly happen? Harambam here is saying your actions matter. They matter personally, they matter communally, and they may even matter globally. Sometimes we don't think about it, but the choices we make hurt or help other people. And we need to have a paradigm shift, an attitude change. The attitude of sitkut. The attitude of, I want to get to a place where the overwhelming majority of the time I'm making the right choices. I'm not battling with myself every single time. I want to move from someone who's constantly thinking about, is this right or is this wrong, to a place where I know what's right and I know what's wrong, and majority of the time I'm choosing what's right and I'm overriding what is wrong. And in that, I move towards looking at the world through the lens of a Sadiq. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should all have an attitude change. We should reflect on, again, what might have or should have been and what could possibly be. And in that, we should merit a year of health, happiness, and success. Tizku l'shanim rabot.